With everything else going on at the minute, like that other promotion just sort of being there and all the contract talk and half the roster asking for their release and Lasses taking their kit off again for some reason, I will forgive you for having forgotten that it's the Royal Rumble next week. In fact, even if you've been watching WWE's televised product religiously, the announcements about the Rumble have taken a pronounced backseat to, well, everything else that's been going on. We've got a new Intercontinental Champion, we've unveiled the women's tag team titles, we've got a shock #1 contender for Braun at the Rumble, and then Braun Strowman just sort of pulled a car door off and flipped it over. That was good. But this is still the tail end of January, so as is tradition since both 1988 and literally just last year respectively, the conversations about the Rumble traditionally should dominate the topic of conversation. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to have a conversation, which is going to be me just talking at you about the Rumbles and specifically who is in them. So do I do an intro for this? Yeah, my name is Adam Clery, and this is every single wrestler in the 2019 Royal Rumbles. All of them. Alright, so let's start with the Lads Rumble, because I think the show probably will, won't it? The Lasses have to main event again this year, don't they? Because they've got the best stories by a mile. Anyway, yes, R-Truth was the first person to be entered into the Rumble because he won the Mixed Match Challenge, and with that came the number 30 slot, as well as his little holiday to Stamford. If you've not watched all those skits on YouTube, then cool. You don't have to. Next up was Drew McIntyre, who on the Christmas Eve episode of Raw announced both his participation and his intention to win the Royal Rumble. Now, funny story, I once actually had to check him into a hotel room for a wrestling show, and the receptionist thought we were lovers, so there's that. Going to lump all of the New Day into one entry here because that tends to be what WWE do with them in the Rumble, but interestingly, Xavier Woods said that all three of them would be competing in the match, and that remains to be seen. It would be quite weird if, given the size and the depth of the roster, they give the New Day literally 10% of the entire thing. So yeah, wait and see. Yes, now that he hasn't got an Intercontinental title to defend anymore and is apparently going to be the recipient of a massive push, CrossFit Jesus is going to be in the Royal Rumble and is already one of the big favourites to actually win the thing. Yeah, after a surprisingly well-booked 2018, I'll hold my hands up here, I thought once they split the Hardys up, they would completely waste the pair of them, but him especially. Jeff Hardy is going to be in the 2019 Royal Rumble. They announced this in a tweet on the WWE Twitter account, but then deleted it. So I don't know if that's a meta joke about his brother or anything, but no, apparently he's still in it. Big Meanie Deanie Weenie was the next to throw his hat into the ring on the January 7th edition of Raw, which did slightly telegraph the fact he was about to drop the Intercontinental title, but there you go. Actually, I mean, I'm saying that, he dropped it to Bobby Lashley, who was already announced as being a part of the Royal Rumble match. He did it at a house show in Fort Myers. One of the crew had a ringside phone going, and he buried Apollo Crews, then walked up to the dude with the phone and said, "You know what I'm about, the main event or something, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble," and they posted that, and he's in. But now he's the Intercontinental Champion, but I think he's still in because they haven't got a match. Yeah. One very random outside shout to actually win the Royal Rumble, and I do mean about as outside shout as you can possibly get at this stage, given how they booked him last year, is Samoa Joe. He is definitely going to be in the Rumble and is one of the shorter odds to actually win it. They must have had that conversation at some point. Not happening, is it? Now, here we are, the romantic's choice. There is a growing lobby of wrestling fans who are pitching the idea that John Cena should definitely win this year's Royal Rumble. Coincidentally, all of those pitches start with the words, "Please hear me out." So, yeah, can't see it, but he's in it. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias is in the Royal Rumble. After quite the year for Baron Corbin, he too has announced that he will be in the Royal Rumble next week. Now, I'm not quite sure how you get somebody over the top rope with a rest hold, but goddamn, he'll give it a go, won't he? This is getting exciting now, isn't it? Jinder Mahal announced that he too will be taking part in the Royal Rumble after he lost the Mixed Match Challenge final and just announced that he would rather be number 29 than number 30 in a really weird sketch they put on Facebook. So there's that. Speaking of slightly awkward backstage segments filmed for Facebook immediately after a mixed tag team match, that's precisely how Apollo Crews announced that he would be in the match as well. Not only that, he announced that he was definitely going to win it. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Slight twist on the formula here, and the artist formerly known as Andrade Cien Almas, who spent all week apparently telling people don't come to WWE because I absolutely hate it now, lol awkward, announced on Zelina Vega's Twitter account that he too would be in the Rumble. Do you remember that talk a few months ago that they were thinking about letting him win it? Can't see that now. Oh, can you imagine? They had Rey Mysterio win the Royal Rumble. Wouldn't that be really nice? Wouldn't that just tell you that 2019 was going to be lovely and wholesome and really nice things were going to finally happen to really nice people? They announced it on the official Twitter page, I want to say. They showed you his big baldy head from behind so you couldn't see his face, and he put his mask on. He said he had a plan, and part of that plan was he was planning to win the Royal Rumble. He won't, but it would be nice. Now here's one for you. Mustafa Ali, a man with a legitimate claim to be challenging WWE champion Daniel Bryan because he pinned him the other week on TV, and that's a good reason to give somebody a title shot. He couldn't win it. Surely couldn't win it. Could he? Anyway, he's in it, and he announced it on, again, I want to say Twitter. Just for the avoidance of doubt, not happening. Women's Royal Rumble now, and we also start with the winner of the Mixed Match Challenge, Carmella, who is very obviously good now, as I've been saying for months and months. She gets the coveted number 30 spot, but I have fantasy booked the whole thing in my head 100 times, and every single eventuality, Becky somehow gets this spot. So let's see what happens. Next up is Bayley, who I have to say was really underwhelmingly booked in last year's Royal Rumble when she should have been one of the stars of it. I think she came out at number 29, good number, but then only got like 5 minutes in the whole thing. It's not too late, WWE, to start using her properly, and so maybe start here, please. Ember Moon was the next to throw her name into the hat, into the ring, don't know what we're going to call that, into the ring, after she debuted in this on the main roster this time last year. But again, another one who wasn't really booked all that strongly in it, given it was her debut and they had all these big plans for her. She came out at, I think, 20, and then Asuka threw her out not long after. I should have double checked that before I came on, but I think it's right, so we'll go with that. Anyway, she's in. Natalya is also in, but I couldn't find when they actually announced that or how they did it. So Natalya's in just because she's in, and you need to do something with her. Here's a pitch for you, WWE, because I know you're always watching everything I do. Make the Riot Squad like the heel New Day of the Women's Royal Rumble. I know they've all said they're all going to be in it, and you probably do need all three of them to pad it out, but just have Ruby Riot in, and then have the other two stop her getting eliminated all the time. Distract the refs or catch her and throw her back, and just do like a bad guys version of the New Day. That's my idea, but you can have it. Alicia Fox is in, so that's good. That's a thing that's definitely happening. After losing the Mixed Match Challenge final, she said she would rather be number 29 than number 30 because it's divisible by 9. I'm just gonna let you think about that one just for a second. Yeah, you remember the thing I just said about Andrade, how he did the thing on Zelina Vega's Twitter, how he just sort of like had the phone and was like, yeah, I'm gonna be in it and I'm gonna win it. And that was like what he said on her Twitter. Well, he just sort of like gave her the phone and she was like, yeah, I'm going to be in it and I'm going to win it as well. So that was that. Best of luck to them. Last and by no means least, we have the eternal Mickie James, who has announced that she will also be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, they've already, well, I said blew their load there, but that's a very poor choice of words. They've already spent themselves over that moment with Trish they had in last year's Rumble, but I would imagine they do it again just because, I mean, they've not got much else now, have they? So, yeah, that'll be fun. So, yes, there you have it. That is every single entrant for the Men's and Women's Royal Rumbles 2019. Expect that to change by, like, Monday or Tuesday, but also don't expect it to change too much because they're both nearly 2/3 full. You need shocks, you need surprises, you need all of that. So there's not really many more announcements they're going to do. We're not certainly missing any massive big names, so probably won't change all that much. I should be back in the center of the frame for the outro. Forgot about that. Anyway, let us know what you make of it all in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I have, of course, been interchangeable soy cook number 2 from What Culture. Hi, Reddit, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.
Hello, What Culture? My name is Simon Miller, and today I have an announcement so big, so huge, it's gonna shatter the very foundations of your life to the point you may need to phone up a friend and say, I don't even know who I am anymore. I have just heard the news. Have you heard the news? I've heard you out there. I've seen you've been commenting. I've read your tweets, and I can now officially let you know that if you do enjoy Raw ups and downs, if you do enjoy SmackDown ups and downs, that now you'll be able to set your watches to them. You'll be able to make notes in your calendars because we're gonna have an official time for when they're gonna go live. I know, massive. So Ups and Downs for Raw will go live at 2 p.m. GMT, that's British time every Tuesday, and they will go live at 2 p.m. GMT every Wednesday. For for SmackDown. So you don't have to be aimlessly walking around anymore going, what do? I want to know what got up and what got down and what Seth Rollins did or what AJ Styles is up to. Now you know. 2 p.m. GMT Tuesday, 2 p.m. GMT Wednesdays, ups and downs coming at you in the face. I realise what I just said, retract that, keep moving on, and I hope to see you there soon. And I hope that we build an audience so big that if I ever wanted to march an army anywhere in the world, I could, and we'd call it the Ups and Downs Army, because I haven't come up with a better name.